Thank you for joining us as we explore the heritage of the YMCA. Whether you are a volunteer, a staff, a member, or participant of the Y, you are now part of a family that is truly more a movement than a company. It has made an impact on this world like few organizations in history. Few things stand the test of time. Not many organizations may have a profound impact on multiple generations, but yours does. This heritage, your heritage, is so much more than historical facts. This heritage will draw you into the fabric of the Y. You will discover the heartbeat of this movement and gain understanding as to how it has stood the test of time. It is true, there is no power greater than an idea whose time has come. There are few examples that demonstrate this truth more than the idea that gave birth to the YMCA. What was that idea? What sparked the beginnings of your Y? The spark was God tapping on the shoulder of a young 20-year-old man, George Williams. From George Williams' heart for people and a passion for his community, the YMCA began in 1844. One of 9 children, George failed in the family business. He was a terrible farmer, but what he lacked in agricultural ability, he made up for in leadership and vision. George Williams was the chief instigator, along with 11 other young men who worked in a dry goods firm in downtown London, where many of them not only worked, but also lived. It was the start of the Industrial Revolution, and London was the center of the world. The working conditions were difficult and unbearable in some cases. George and his friends were compelled to meet. Their employer donated a room so they could gather for prayer, study, and fellowship. On June 6, 1844, George and his friends decided to form an association and penned it, the Young Men's Christian Association. The YMCA was born out of these humble beginnings, and as well as a spiritual thirst for Jesus Christ and their desire to give away what they had found. Men were coming to London from all over Europe to work in the world's first factories. There was little infrastructure to welcome the influx of men. George and his small group of activists felt a deep conviction that it was up to them to offer their community alternatives to the unsavory downtown options that tempted many young men. The Y quickly became a bright light in a dark city, and that was just the beginning. Only 11 years after its birth, in 1855, there were 397 separate Ys in 9 nations, impacting 30,369 people. Young men with spiritual encouragement and positive relationships. The United States of America is one of those nations. In 1851, the YMCA traveled across the Atlantic. Sea Captain Thomas Sullivan established the first YMCA of the United States in Boston. By 1860, there were 205 separate YMCAs throughout America with 25,000 members. Of the beginnings, George Williams simply said, "The purpose in organizing was to extend God's grace to young men so they could feel the warmth and glow that is ours." George and his band of brothers were not starting an organization. They were organizing a mission. They were so motivated by their love for God and so moved by their compassion for others. They started a movement that became infectious to the world and has changed it forever. George Williams and his friends responded to the needs of the young men in downtown London. Taking social responsibility for others became a defining characteristic of the YMCA. The Y has and continues to take social responsibility. Let's take a look at how the YMCA responded to the needs of its time within its first 100 years. Here's Travis to tell us more.